Hello, my friends. Today I will be telling you about my trip to Sacro Bosco, Gardens of Bomarzo, the Sacred Garden in Bomarzo, Italy. Before I start telling you about my trip, I wanted to share that before we visited this garden, I personally didn't know where I was going. I was under a false impression that I will be simply visiting the gardens of a rich person, the Duke of Bomarzo, called Vicino Orsini, who in 1547 built this beautiful garden full of whimsical statues. I was quite mistaken, as my trip to Bomarzo was quite transforming. Once you're there, you immediately get a feeling that is not just a garden built by a rich person for entertainment. In fact, this garden has a purpose. What kind of purpose is for everybody to find on their own. My trip to Sacro Bosco, or the Sacred Grove, changed me in a way as to I had a time, not the first time, but one of the times in my life where I meditated on my own soul, on my own purpose. The garden made me go within. The garden made me look deep inside myself. The statues in the garden are very different than what you're used to see when you're traveling in Italy. They're different kind of statues. Some of them are very beautiful. Some of them are strange and grotesque looking. Once you start walking through the garden, it feels as if you, at least that was my own authentic experience, go through stages, go through different passages, if you like. And either you successfully pass through them or you don't. I would recommend when you go there, try to be as quiet as possible, meaning do not engage in casual conversations with your travel passengers, because this is going to take away from your ability to concentrate on how you feel. Throughout the garden, there are multiple inscriptions on stone, either in Latin or in Italian, and because it is too much to take in and to try to read and translate and understand right there on the spot, I recommend you bring a camera and you take pictures, as many pictures as you want. Pictures are allowed, and you can take these pictures and then later go home and try to translate what these inscriptions are saying. Further on, throughout the garden, some statues might make you feel uncomfortable. Uncomfortable how? For example, there is, right at the entrance, there is a statue of a sphinx, almost asking you, why are you here? What's the purpose of your visit? On the other side, there is a statue of a giant monster with a very big open mouth in a shape of a door that you can choose to enter in a small, very dark room. That room is has a weird vibe of like making you really go within your own soul and stay in a state is not the right way to say, just be in a calm state of mind. Further on in the garden, you see different things that invoke different feelings within yourself. One of them is a statue, two statues right next to each other. One is a dragon, the other one appears to be a dog. This is not, however, a very beautiful dragon from what we're used to. In fact, the dragon is quite grotesque, scary looking, and the dog is right there, right in front of it, almost kind of not letting him go. This particular statue did not make me feel very good. I figured the dragon represented, actually here on the screen, you can see that what I'm describing now. The dragon I feel that the dragon represented almost like your own dark side. What is it that you know you need to work on, or perhaps you don't even know? And the dog is some kind of a guard dog that you cannot go any further until you kind of almost clean yourself up, figure yourself out, figure your darkness out. So this is one kind of interesting part of the garden where I had to stop and pause for a second. The other part of the garden, as you see now on the screen, is this kind of a temple, kind of a sacred place, a temple. The legend says that here Vicino Orsini came to talk to his wife who has passed away, who he was very much in love with and he deeply missed. Whether this is true or not, I don't know. However, this is one of the places in the garden. Right to the left of it, there is a big green meadow, open space, and a beautiful hill. This is one of the places in this garden where one feels happy and accomplished. Somehow, this is at least how I felt. This is another of the statues in the garden, a statue of a turtle. And on the back of a turtle is what I believe is a statue of an ancient goddess. I do not recommend which goddess this was, but the turtle to me showed me that in life one needs to take one's time and kind of almost go slowly, ponder on what you're doing, and take it easy. This is one place in the garden, these two kind of lions, dogs next to each other that you just saw, that I couldn't figure out what that was. There is a statue of Hercules that you just saw a little bit before, that is tearing a man apart. That had very profound meaning for me. Hercules tearing the man apart is quite of a large statue in this Sacro Bosco, and the feeling I had there was that I have to get rid of whatever doesn't serve me in life. It's like almost I need to tear it away from myself. I have to clean my act, if you want. This part of the garden where there are 7 pillars that you see now, 7 pillars that have statues of heads on top, is another part of the garden that one feels very good. This is a part of the garden where I had the feeling that I have perhaps accomplished something. I have elevated my soul in a way. These 7 pillars, they're between 2 larger pillars. They kind of made me feel that this is almost like represents the 7 sins or the 7 cardinal virtues, and maybe one at a time we all have to work towards them. I highly recommend you go on this trip. Again, you go if you can alone or in solitude, or kind of understand that you will not be talking a lot while you're in there, so that you get a chance to go within and reach deep within your soul and see what kind of transformation will happen to you. What kind of message from the divine will you receive? Throughout the garden, one can also see the symbolism of the pine cone. There are a lot of pine cone statues, differently situated around. And here we probably want to kind of remember that the pine cone is associated with the pineal gland in the human body, and with elevating and opening of our consciousness. Here perhaps you can see a little alley with a bunch of pine cones across. This is another of what I call very happy places in this Sacro Bosco sacred grove. At the end of it, the Sacro Bosco, at the end of the garden, you will see what looks like a house. However, that house is built in a very crooked way. In fact, when you enter, you will feel dizzy. People who have vertigo should not enter in this house. It's a 2-story house. It's very small, gray, and not very inviting. I did enter this house briefly, and the feeling I had while I was there was almost like I'm in the Upside Down. If you have seen that movie, Strange Things, it's like I had a feeling I'm in the Upside Down. It was a very strange feeling inside this house at the very end of the Sacro Bosco. Here is that green meadow to the left side of the temple that I described. This is very pleasant part of the garden. You can walk up the hill and experience the sunshine, the good vibes, kind of recharge from kind of passing by these scary, grotesque statues. This is a place where you can almost kind of have your energy back again. I very much recommend visiting Sacro Bosco, walking slowly, taking a lot of pictures, and see how you feel while you're there. Perhaps if you visit, you can share in the comments what you learned about yourself, if you'd like, while you're in Sacro Bosco, and if you learn anything, and maybe how you see these statues, different places, different statues, what kind of message you receive throughout the whole place. I hope you have a wonderful time in Sacro Bosco in Bomarzo, Italy. Thank you very much for watching.